today will be at 5:35. There's a late Marv at 8. Tomorrow morning we're davening at 6:10, it being Wednesday. Now for a very quick Devar Torah. Today is, by the way, Zion Ba'adar, the 7th of Adar, which is Moshe Rabbeinu's yard site. In many places they don't say Tachanun today. This shul does, as you may have noticed. Surprise, Ozi said Tachanun. Remember, other places look for reasons not to say Tachanun. We look for reasons to say it. But anyway, that said, one of the things that we should concentrate on is what made Moshe Rabbeinu Moshe Rabbeinu. He was the ultimate leader of the Jewish people. He's the model for leadership in history. And it says in the Torah that he was the most humble of men. You're saying, wait a minute. Here's a guy stood up to Paro. He spoke with God face to face, as it were. And you're saying he's humble? We think of humility as somebody who just goes along, doesn't do anything, doesn't want to cause trouble. Moshe made a whole revolution with Hashem's help. That Hashem told him, you do this, he did it. He actually turned the world around because we don't understand what humility really means. Humility is not like being an ox and just doing what the master tells you to do. Humility is, I have a job to do. I do it not because of anything that I'm going to get, because the job has to get done. Somebody has to do it. I'm the person. Much like if you know American history, George Washington did not want to be the first president. They had to convince him. Here's a fellow who was a great man, and he basically wanted to go back to his plantation, go back to work. He and others set up what was called the Cincinnatus community. These were men who had been important in the American Revolution, and now they hung up their weapons and were now going back to being farmers. In other words, I did my job, now it's time to get back to normal life. Moshe would have loved nothing more than to have a nice, quiet life, but he had a job to do, and he did it. And then he didn't complain. Much like there's a fellow who goes to the shul named Glenn Richter. Glenn is one of the most humble people in the shul, and probably responsible for the destruction, one of the people responsible for the destruction of the Soviet Jewry. He led the movement to get Jews out of the Soviet Union. And yet if you speak to him, he says, oh yeah, I did that, but I have other things I'm doing now. He's very humble. Yet when the time came, he did his job. So that's something that we can take from today's yard side of Moshe Rabbeinu, something to think about, Kaddish Rabbanim.